Yeah. I'm gonna make it Diana set down the bed. Oh, that's feedback. That's somebody.
Well, plates. So far, it's fine. Okay, you guys about ready? We got a full house here, so let's call the Board of Appeals meeting for Wednesday, May 8th, 2024 to order. Would you call the roll, please?
Baranski,
Here.
Spivey,
Here.
Dave,
Here.
Monahan,
Here.
Jensen, it's Heisweiler, here, and Rosenthal.
Here. We do have a quorum, so first order of business is public comment. I see none.
I just wrote my name down in case you have any questions.
Okay, that's perfect. Okay, the next is approval of minutes from the April 10th, 2024 meeting. I entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the April 10th, 2024 meeting.
We got a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
A second.
Have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, been carried. Unfinished business, there's none. New business. This is no public hearing, is it?
Yeah.
It is? Okay. That wasn't marked that way. Excuse me. Anyway, the next new business is under calendar 24S-02. Owner and applicant Coons Property LLC. Request for a special use permit to allow outdoor dining and accessory commercial land use in the downtown commercial district at 215 Diagonal Street. So since it is a public hearing, I'll have to entertain a motion to open a public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open a public hearing on 24S-02.
Do we have a second?
Second the motion?
A second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, been carried. Okay, if first order of business is Mr. Knack will swear in anyone who's to speak before the board. So raise your right hand and Phil will swear you in.
Promise to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so whoever's gonna speak needs to come forward. State your name and your address for the record, please.
Catherine Kuzmanoff, 219 South Prospect Street, Galena.
Go ahead and explain to us what it is you want to do.
We have an outside patio next to the Galena Tap House at 215 Diagonal Street. And we want to offer outside dining for people. There was formerly a permit at that location, but we just wanted to have it match our current business hours.
Okay, that's what I thought at one time it was. So do we have any questions for the applicant? I see none. Anything else you'd like to add?
Oh, no, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time tonight.
You bet. Anyone else speak? Well, you didn't get sworn in. You can't. Okay, I entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close 24S-02.
I'll second.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, been carried. Okay, on item 24S-02, applicant requests a special use permit for outdoor dining as accessory commercial land use in the downtown commercial zone district at 215 Diagonal Street. I entertain a motion on the request.
You want to do it?
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the special use permit for 219, no, sorry. 219 North Bench Street.
Not exactly.
Is that the-
215 Diagonal.
Sorry. Oh, what am I looking at here? Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. 215 Diagonal.
Do we have a second on the motion?
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Jim, would you like to read it?
Yeah, let's go through the standards. So the application complies with the number one, the site plan review standards. Number two, the district standards, 154-201 through 154-209. Three, the specific land use regulations in 154-409. Yes, there is availability of complementary uses. 5, it's compatible with adjoining properties through number A, protection of privacy, B, protection of use and enjoyment, and C, compatible design and integration.
Okay. Any discussion?
Yeah, I do have some discussion. So this is,
Dr. Smith, would you let the record show Dave Jansen is here?
Dave,
And he's wearing a
Everybody.
Padres shirt too.
And that's why I stopped the meeting, so we could acknowledge.
Yeah.
I would just say point of order. I don't know that Dave should vote on
You
this since
can't.
he wasn't here for the public hearing.
Correct.
Just so you know.
That's fine. Just so the record shows that. He's here, but he can't vote.
I was taking a look. Oh, no, is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just taking a look at the pictures in here and this is, this is really good. I like the idea. The question I wanted us to talk about, this is a similar location to what we did with the Lions Den. And while I don't think, obviously we don't have the concerns, but I just wanted us as the committee to talk about this. Because this is a, Sunday through Saturday type thing, and it does butt up to the residential area. Should we discuss having similar to Friday, Saturday, they can do it till 10 PM, Sunday through Thursday, 9 PM, no live entertainment, even though I know it wasn't asked for any live entertainment or microphone music, all that kind of stuff. Should we discuss that? I
Put
thought it-
restrictions on it.
Yeah.
So there are automatic restrictions on outdoor dining that have to do just with the
There are
the
no,
city ordinances.
yeah, there are no specific time
Yeah.
restrictions on that.
And I guess as far
It's
as
just-
restrictions we had on the Lions, then that was more to appease people that were at the meeting, if, my opinion. I don't see anybody in opposition to this. They had this before. There was never an issue at that location, so I don't really know that we need to put that restriction on.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question because I think we have put restrictions on others, but not all.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, what is the logic of why we did that? And I think some of it has to do with the fact whether there's a bunch of people here in opposition.
It was a place serving, if I remember, it was a place serving alcohol. And
Yeah,
it was close to residents, unlike some of the
Yeah.
places down here.
yeah,
And I think some of their problem was that not so much the fact that anybody was out there eating or dining, it was people out there hanging out.
Yeah,
They're making a lot of noise that their complaint was.
yeah.
I don't know that we had any complaints with the police department, but I think that was more the issue, and that's why we put a restriction on it. But I don't ever recall there being an issue,
Well, there was outdoor dining in this location.
but I don't remember there being an issue
In
with it.
fact, the bakery that was there had an outdoor dining special use permit.
Was that Bodizatu?
Yeah,
Soren Bodizatu?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
that goes back to that
That's a
special
long
use
time
permit was
ago.
2007.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
I had the same thought, but I imagine right there is a process to go through if there is a noise complaint that neighbors could call the police department or whoever, if
Yeah.
that there would be a process that they
Yeah.
could go through if it becomes an issue versus us setting a limit right up front.
I guess I didn't ask, I should have. What are the operation hours?
They should be
They're
enclosed
in
in your
there.
paperwork.
Message.
They're in the memo.
My bad.
Essentially, it's 10 PM on weekdays and midnight on weekends.
and that's why and if we're serving booze
Mm.
and there's residents right next door, and doesn't this butt right up against residential property?
Well, it's up against Bed Street, but there's a pretty significant
Buffer.
There's a nice wall there.
Yeah, it's a little different than when we did the Lions Den because those backyards were backed up to each other.
And this does have some separation here, I do agree with
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and I think that does make a difference. And I will say this, and this is, I know we've had this sort of general philosophical question in the past about people say, well, you got to restrict it because it won't be enforced. The ordinance won't be enforced. And I've always contended that we can't make decisions based on whether or not our police department or our city will enforce it. That's a separate issue. We have to base it on whether we think it's a good use or not. The enforcement, if people call because it's too loud and it's, midnight or past midnight, it's 1 o'clock, then the police have to go out and shut it down. But we can't say, well, people are going to say that, they're not going to do that. The police won't do it. And then we can't, that's not a consideration that we can
Yeah.
have.
I'm not worried about the police not doing it. I've got all the faith that
Yeah.
they would do that. I was more thinking that it is residential right
Yeah.
there. And just as a common courtesy as the zoning committee that we should talk about it.
I think it's a good thing, and I think there is a difference between this particular one and then the one that was at the Lions Den. Because the Lions Den did have, I mean, literally backyards were, I mean, they were almost abutting, right? Even though the Lions Den did have a little, it was a big long lot in the back and there was like an alley back there, but I think that this one's probably isolated enough that.
The only area that I see that shares that close proximity is 207 Bed Street. Is that a residential? The one right,
The brick house right
if you
here.
were looking up that, toward that silo thing, it's just to the left there.
Right here.
It's not a long term. It's
It's
not a long term.
Not long-term residence.
Is there gonna
It's
be
a resident though. It's just not long term.
a bar out there? Or
This is just for
Could I
sitting to eat,
answer a
right?
couple questions?
You want to come back up front?
Thank you. I just wanted to mention that the permit was also in use actively more recently when it was Ayala's in the same location.
Oh, I almost had it.
And Ayala's had a full liquor license and the tap house only has a beer and wine license. So, of course, the bartender has to take responsibility for how they serve. We aren't serving whiskey and vodka to people.
But the bar's gonna be inside the building.
Correct.
It's not outside on the patio or anything else.
Not currently, although that is not stipulated in any outside special use permit, so I can't predict the future.
Alright.
But we don't have any plumbing, the silo is a decorative round piece of furniture, and that's all.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion?
I'm comfortable with it. But I do appreciate the point. So,
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Would you call the roll, please?
Spivey,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Monahan,
yes,
Einsweiler,
Yes.
Baranski,
yes.
Rosenthal.
Yes. Okay. Next order of business is adjournment. I'll entertain a
I
motion.
have one quick question.
Oh,
And Jonathan, if this is, I don't know, remember we were talking about and I'm not sure how we changed, remember how we were looking at the ordinance and we had that funny misprint in the, that allowed industrial uses like
Oh, the
in
land use
in the,
tables?
in the land use table? Is that something we have to do here or is that
No,
something that can just be
I'll
changed?
check with Mary Beth again. We sent something. Cause we have to get permitted. We have to send that out to get it changed,
Okay,
cause it's wrong.
okay. So just so you know, we had in our, it was a misprint in our land use table that allowed heavy industrial uses in residential, and which is not obviously allowed. And I think in the text part of it, it doesn't allow it, but it was in the table, and we're like, if someone sees that, they may say, oh, I can put a factory in a residential area.
Which
but
is
not
you.
allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we saw it a while back and we thought we need.
Yeah,
to
I
get
talked to her
fixed.
about it. I just didn't follow up on it.
Okay.
I'll talk to her.
Let's just see if we can get it fixed so we don't have an embarrassment with someone trying to do that. Saying, hey, it's in your table. Like, oh, geez. Anyway, that's all.
entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Got a motion and a second.
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same, carried. Thank you. Thanks, folks.
Yeah. Today.
After next month's meeting, it's official. So they should be like, they have to, yeah, they have to go on the Friday back.
Supposed to do it at home. They should have sent you a email to handle it.
Well,
When we talk.
Me too. Kind of a lot, but what I think.
Yeah.
I don't have.
What do you have to do?
Bye, guys.
Okay, keep moving.
I'm fine.
You gotta sign it.
Oh,
So you have to train me. You won't sexually abuse me because I sit next to
And I'm willing to make a change now that
I probably won't sign.
Oh,
a decent quarter.
well, we'll see if he's.
Yeah, no.
We hope he's.
When, I was gonna look it up, but the meeting started Wednesday night.
September.
Right?
September.
Well,
Alright.
owns it.
Back there.
Well, but the difference is that they have a start. They have
It's been a long time.
They bring a quarterback and put it in a starting position, but they didn't have any other skill players around them. Now, they
Right.
have wide receivers that they can